He is Jason Shepard. I am Jarom Jordan. Our next guest is a man who played basketball at BYU. He's a radio analyst. He's one of your favorite lawyers out there. His name is Mark Durrant on the Deseret First Credit Union hotline. Mark, you have a filing cabinet behind you. That is a right of a lawyer to have in his office, right?
Yeah, they issue that to you once you pass the bar, and you must take it with you at all times and all places.
Yeah, and wow, going scriptural there. I like that.
This is awkward because I thought we were talking with Kevin Durrant. I've prepared a lot of questions about Kyrie Irving, so I hope you'll just bear with me.
Listen, people, if you can believe it, people ask me if I'm related to Kevin Durant. I'm like, well, no, but Devin, I am.
What? Well, yes. As you recall, and I've said before, one time to Devin, I asked if he was Mark's brother. So that was the first time that had ever been asked, which is awesome. Okay, so
yes, I appreciate that. He needs to be taken down a notch or two, actually. So that's good.
I got you. Okay, we were talking about the hypothetical of the West Coast Conference tournament, and it's not a report. It's just an idea that, hey, there might be leagues that say it's not worth it for us to play a conference tournament. Although a lot of college basketball has taken place. Yes, there have been postponements. The rescheduling. I think we've navigated this generally pretty well. But there's always a chance that maybe it doesn't happen. And who knows? What if Gonzaga opted out? What are your thoughts on the possibility of these things, as we don't know what it's going to be like in 6 weeks?
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's hard to know what it's going to be like. But my philosophy for this whole thing is, let's look for ways to make it happen rather than ways to cancel things, right? I mean, if you can have a conference tournament, if you can manage the risks and do it in a safe way, why not have a conference tournament? I mean, that's part of the fun of basketball season, and especially for the players, I mean, that's a big deal. And you go, and even the teams that aren't in the NCAA tournament discussion, that's kind of their postseason and a chance to go and be part of that tournament environment. And I don't know all the financial aspects of it, the TV and how that is affected if you don't have fans and generating that kind of revenue. But just from a player's perspective and just for the perspective of college basketball, if you can have a conference tournament, do it. Why change things if you don't have to? And you can do it in the right way. And maybe you make some modifications. And if Gonzaga doesn't want to play, I mean, that's up to them. But I think if you can do it, find a way to do it, because it's a great time and a fun experience, and it gives teams a chance to play in that conference environment with just a sliver of hope that perhaps you might win the tournament and get a bid to the NCAA tournament. So let's do it if we can. Whatever Mark Few and the Zags want to do, that's fine. But let's have a tournament if we possibly can.
And just to be clear for those watching, not a report, just an idea that we're putting out there that benefiting Gonzaga or not, right, at that point. So nothing official or even unofficial at this point, just throwing out an idea.
All right, so Mark, you and I have the chance to talk during pregame shows, so we get to talk about this a lot. But Jarom and I were talking in the last segment, just the fact that BYU is certainly trending in the right direction to really put itself in a very similar spot to where it was last year. And after losing so much production, that just speaks extremely highly of what Coach Pope and his coaches have done. Where do you feel like Coach Pope has made the biggest impact on this program?
Well, first of all, I mean, I just love Coach Pope. You guys are around him. What a joy it is to be around him. And I think the players feel that as well. And there's a great locker room and a great environment. They feel like they really care about him. But I think a lot of his success is his ability to recruit, whether that's recruiting guys like Caleb Lohner coming out of high school, or more importantly, I think in today's college basketball, you need to really take advantage of the transfers and bring in good players. That's how a team like BYU and Gonzaga, for instance, can really compete against some of the bigger schools, as being a great transfer spot for people. And imagine where this team would be without Averett and Harms and Harward and Barcelo, go down the list. Those guys are all transfers. And I think that's where BYU can get good players, experienced players. You kind of know what you're getting. And Mark Pope is such a gregarious, fun, great guy that, he goes into people's homes and those kids buy into it. And then when they have success, like Gonzaga has had over the years, then people know in the future know if I go to BYU, I'm going to have a chance for real success and exposure and to play at the next level. So he's done a lot of great things, but I think his ability to recruit, especially transfers, has been a real difference maker early for him.
11 regular season games left. The 11th is Gonzaga. Do you feel like BYU will lose any of the next 10?
Yeah. I mean, sorry, but just practically speaking, I think it's likely they will. I mean, I've just been on the road too many times in conference and been snake bitten even at home with this conference. You look at Pepperdine the other night, it looks like BYU's rolling, and then they all of a sudden they're in a game at the end. And that's really been the case in all of the games except Gonzaga with St. Mary's and San Francisco. BYU was behind in those games in the second half. And that's not to say I don't think BYU will win most of them, but I think they're not such an offensive juggernaut that they're going to be 20, 30 points ahead of people. They're going to be in tight games, right? And you just don't win all of them, even if you're a good team. If it's close, sometimes the ball doesn't bounce your way. But with that said, I mean, I think BYU will have a chance to win every game, but I don't know that with the numbers and the games will be pretty close that if BYU could do that. I hope they do, and that would be an exciting game against Gonzaga to finish up the regular season.
The good news, Mark, is the BYU got the win on Saturday, but I don't think the Cougars felt like they played their best basketball. I know Pepperdine was not happy with the way neither team shot the ball well, and it's always difficult when you play a team back-to-back, which is actually pretty rare in college basketball. What do you make of part 2 of BYU versus Pepperdine tomorrow in Malibu?
It's hard to play any team twice. That's why the second half of conference play is always harder, but particularly back-to-back games. I mean, no crazy things happen, as we know, with back-to-back games against the same opponent. It's going to be tough because I think you saw a preview with Pepperdine of what the rest of the conference is going to try and do with BYU. I think now they understand BYU is a big, strong inside team, that their three-point shooting is not as good as it was by any means from last year. So Pepperdine, I think, was content to pack in the defense, be very aggressive with the big men, try and push them off the block and be very physical and try and take the big men out of the game a little bit, and then almost dare BYU to beat them from the three-point line. And they made a couple, but still didn't shoot great. And so I think that's probably the preview of the scout going forward, is to try and take away the inside play for BYU and I don't think people fear BYU particularly from the three-point line. So not just Pepperdine, but going forward as they play teams twice, it's going to be even much more difficult because teams know you, and there's good coaches in this league, and they'll try and do things to stop you. So it'll be a challenge for BYU.
Alex Barcelo with a, I guess, new look. We'll see how the tooth looks tomorrow. But did you ever chip a tooth when you played, Mark?
No, but that's miserable. I've had my share of teeth problems, and having to play an entire game after having your tooth chipped, that doesn't sound fun at all. But I tell you what, one time Ken Roberts cut my eyelid open. I had to get stitches. And the next day I broke his nose. So that's the story I would tell everybody. Don't mess with me or you're going to get it. And so listen, I expect Alex to do some redistribution of pain next game on Pepperdine.
On Colby Ross, that'll be a fun matchup. Did you have stitches on your eyelid?
I maybe misspoke. Eyebrow. Right
okay,
here,
eyebrow. I was
right
like,
there.
eyelid? Oh my gosh. That would be painful.
Yeah,
that's so thin.
I didn't mean to gross you out, Jarom, but yeah, eyebrow.
Okay, eyebrow. Okay, that's nothing. It's whatever.
I still look beautiful though, so it's okay.
Yeah, in spite of that, I think that's good.
So this is an interesting conversation that we actually want to have on the show, and we're going to kind of preview it with you a little bit. So last year, BYU had clear-cut go-to guys. This year, it's much more about the collective. It's much more about guys versus then maybe the one guy. Which do you prefer?
Well, I prefer the guys, but even in that scenario, I think you have to have one or two players that are kind of your best guys. They don't have to be Jimmer, superstar, Yoli guys, but they have to be your best guys that you can rely on to produce every game. And you'd think that's Barcelo and maybe Harms or someone like that, or Averett, but what I'd like to see out of those guys is a little more consistency, particularly Alex. He can change from half to half. Obviously, he's very good. He's been great. But I'd like to see a consistent scoring from him because the other guys on the team have to know where the points are coming from and rely on that. For instance, I compare this team a lot to the teams I played with. We had some real strength inside. We were an inside-out team, didn't shoot a ton of three-pointers. We had a lot of depth and size inside, like Gary Trost, Jared Miller, Russ Larson, Ken Roberts, those guys. So, but none of those guys were superstars. But we knew, for instance, my senior year, I knew that we were going to get, 35 or 40 points every night from Ken and Russ. And you need to have that base. I mean, those guys were awesome, but they weren't like one-man, two-man teams. And so I think that's the balance you need. You need guys that will play consistently and get you the points you need as a base. And then the other guys can kind of fill in around that. That's what I'd like to see for this team is a real team, obviously a real team mentality, but clearly a couple guys need to step up and be consistent, good performers for you every night so you can count on that.
Now, the exact opposite of this, of just the guys, was 10 years ago today. BYU defeated San Diego State in the top 10 matchup. Kawhi Leonard and Jimmer Fredette, 43 points from Jimmer. Kevin Durrant, your cousin, nephew, tweets, Jimmer Fredette's the greatest scorer in the world. Like, that was such an amazing game, Mark. What do you remember from that you always take away?
It was just perfect college basketball. I mean, you have those moments where it's just perfect. And you're at Viejas and it's packed and you have some of the best players in the country playing for the highest of stakes. And then your team performs like you want them to perform. And Jimmer was just magic and everyone else played great. And, there's a handful of those games. I think last year's Gonzaga game at home was one of those, but it's just perfect college basketball. And after a year like we've had, I mean, I hope we have some of those moments coming up because that's what it's all about. And, that's certainly one that I'll always treasure. I remember the night before with my son, just shooting hoops with Steve Kerr and Clark Kellogg in San Diego's arena, just talking about stuff. Then the game, I mean, it was just like I've died and gone to heaven. This is what it's all about. It's fun.
That's awesome. What a fun memory to hang out with those guys. Okay, Mark, we appreciate the time and safe travels to Malibu through the blizzard today.
Man, I'm not going to Malibu. I don't want any part of Malibu. I already went this year, and they canceled the game. So Rubel's on his own.
Yeah,
he's on his own.
Greg is going solo, but that doesn't mean, Mark, you're off the hook. We're still going to have our courtside conversation, even though you will probably be doing it from the chair that we're watching you at right now.
If you can find me, I'll be on, but I'm not making any guarantees, Jason.
Okay.
Mark Durrant, the only person to complain about Malibu ever. Mark, we appreciate the time.
Yeah.
That's Mark Durrant on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Deseret First, you know why, we show how. So, Greg,